Well, welcome to Dr. Pam Popper's news channel. This is our very first broadcast, and I'm so excited about this. My goal is going to be twice a week to post a video clip like this that will cover current medical events and analyze studies and answer readers and listeners' questions, members of the Wellness Farm, anybody from the public who wants to ask a question, and cover books and book reviews that I think that you might be interested in reading. So once in a while we'll have a guest on the program, which is what we have today. I'm really excited about this. I know. So Tuesday and Thursday are the days we're going to post, and we will email this directly to your email address if you just write to me at pampopper@msn.com, and then you can receive these twice a week. So I'm going to start with a really special announcement that relates to my special guest. We've been waiting so long for this. This is the official Forks Over Knives Cookbook, and the principal author is Sroufe. Name right here.
That's me.
I have with me Sroufe.
That's me. Hi.
Our chef right here. We're so proud of him at the Wellness Forum because he contributed 300 recipes.
There were 300 recipes total in the book. I contributed about 250.
That's a lot of new recipes.
That was a lot of recipes for a 90-day deadline.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Well, you are nothing if not prolific, right?
Well, I am now.
So we thought we would take advantage of the fact that we actually have Del in the building today and let him talk a little bit about both his experience and also a little bit about the cookbook, if you wouldn't mind.
Sure.
So I'm just going to ask you a few questions,
sure.
All right? And let's start with your health story has a lot of impact on what's in the book.
Mm-hmm, okay. Of course.
All right, so let's start with your health story.
Okay.
You came here weighing almost 500 pounds.
Almost 500 pounds, and as we call it, sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Yeah. I remember that, actually.
At a point, you do very well, because I came to you and said, I need help. And I did our program. I started on the Wellness Forum program, and I've spent the past 6 years regaining my health.
Right, and now you've lost like 250 pounds.
Well over 200 pounds.
Yeah.
So I'm well on my way to getting where I want to go, and still working hard at it. And I think I'm learning more every day about really how to make this a permanent life change, because in the beginning it's all about the diet, it's all about learning to exercise, but a lot of it's mental too. We're trying to make permanent changes in my behavior.
And the way you think about food.
The way that you think about food and life itself, I think,
right,
are very different than it was 6 years ago.
Now, your health story has a lot of impact on the recipes in this book, okay? Because there are lots of plant-based recipes and plant-based eating patterns, not necessarily so healthy.
Right.
So talk about your diet before Wellness Forum, because it was plant-based.
I did a plant-based. I went vegan in 1997, opened up a vegan bakery. And of course, the difference between then and now was there was white flour and processed sugar and oil and lots of fat and margarine. Those are vegan.
All plant-based, right?
But not necessarily healthy. And my breakfast in the morning going to work was fresh hot scones out of the oven, which were delicious.
Vegan.
Vegan, organic, but not necessarily
organic
healthy.
Organic and vegan.
So scones and coffee led to a quick ballooning of my weight. I gained pretty much close to 200 pounds in a 2 or 3 year period. Didn't take very much to do. So, I've been eating vegan all that time, but I'm getting less and less healthy doing so.
Now, so you went from eating just clearly a terrible diet, might have been plant-based, terrible. But then there's another generation of terrible diet that's still plant-based, high in fat,
right,
high in oils. Let's cut out the desserts,
right.
Cut out the desserts, but you can still make a stir fry, for example, that is a heart attack on a plate.
Right. You can make a stir fry, and if you don't measure the oil and add 3 or 4 tablespoons of oil to it, and how many calories are we adding? 600 calories to a dish, and 50-some grams of fat.
Right.
So
not health promoting.
Not health promoting at all.
Okay.
And those extra calories add up.
Well, now that brings me to the next question. Obviously, this book, the recipes in this book, had to be compliant with your philosophy and the way you learned to eat, but also the Forks Over Knives philosophy. Sure. Which, if you saw the film, no oil, low fat, etc.
Whole foods.
Whole foods. So talk about some of the restrictions and the creativity that it resulted in from the book.
I went very quickly to thinking primarily about the 4 food groups, so beans, grains, fruits, and vegetables. And let those be my guide for what dishes were to come from that. So whole grains, not a lot of even flour, some pasta dishes and things like that, but mostly whole foods. And then taking that and finding out how to expand the bean section into having 75 bean recipes and what that's going to look like. So soups, pasta dishes with beans, sauces made from beans, etc. And then a world influence of beans. We eat beans all around the world, and we eat them in a lot of different ways. So we spice them differently in the Caribbean than we do in Brazil or than we do in Louisiana.
Right.
So those are all of my influences, are finding ways to make foods taste exciting and full of flavor, but still be compliant and healthy.
Now, one thing that you ought to know is, those of you who are watching this, is that when Del was writing the cookbook, he was looking for recipe testers, people who would take his ideas, test the recipes, make sure that they worked out really well. And I stopped cooking when you joined the Wellness Forum a few years ago. So I said I would not be a recipe tester, but I would be a recipe taster. And I was very, very compliant about eating all the new good food that Del was producing.
You did very well.
Didn't I do well? I tried everything.
You tried everything.
Every day that I was in town, I tried something new when you asked me. So I just want you to know that I have my own little part to play in this book.
You did, yeah,
I did.
You did a good job.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so if you write another cookbook, I'm volunteering right now to be your recipe taster.
Well,
very, very good at that. Yeah, and if you live in Columbus area and you want to be a recipe taster, you just have to come over here around lunchtime and it works out great.
I'll take recipe testers too, by the way.
Okay, so now back to something serious. All right, so now in your new life, eating the Forks Over Knives way, and you like it, right?
I do like it.
You ever, and I know one thing that happened with you is your taste buds used to be kind of hyped up for more high fat.
I did. I wanted my umami. I wanted like rich, full flavored foods. I've been a professional cook for 23 years, and that's what I've learned to do is to create flavor and make flavor happen.
Without fat.
Well, I started off with fat and now without the fat, but I've kind of made it my goal, and this is a lot of thanks to you, is learning to bring my taste buds to a place where I could eat a plain baked potato and gain satisfaction out of that. And like that. And I was telling you the other day about a dish I made that I would never have made a year ago, where I took a package of broccoli and a package of a can of beans and put them in a pan and mixed it up. And I threw some hummus in there with it and mixed in some nutritional yeast, and that was dinner. And I really, really enjoyed it.
Right, but it's a little more creative in here.
A lot more creative in here. We still go for full flavor in the cookbook. But I personally have learned to take a little more enjoyment out of just simple foods, and sometimes I can eat just broccoli and rice and be very happy, and then that works for me, you know. So I like both. But it makes it easier to eat healthy when you just have the simplest of foods available. When you have the bean, grain, fruit, vegetable thing in front of you, I don't have to have a gourmet dinner out of that. I can do well, but I can also eat this any day.
Well, this is really exciting. And for those of you who want to get the book, you can, of course, go to Amazon.com and they'll ship it to you. But if you want to get the book and Del autographs it and puts an inscription in it for you, then just call the Wellness Forum at 614-841-7700 and Del will inscribe and autograph the book for you. And if you are watching this and you want to get these broadcasts emailed to you on Tuesdays and Thursdays every week, just send me an email at pampopper@msn.com. Thank you so much for watching, and please feel free to pass this on to anybody who you think should listen to it or watch it.
Thanks, everybody.